Okay, it's Wednesday, it's January 18th, and it's also 7 p.m. And I'm talking to a camera with no humans on the other side. And it's not really depressing because there's probably going to be 10 web bots that will scrape the web enough to find this video. And, well, that's enough for me. This whole quasi extreme programming thing is mostly to get me talking and to make sure I don't check my email 50% of the time. Uh, But also, I do hope some humans do watch this and maybe can get something out of it. Because sometimes when I'm watching other people work, I realize they're doing this one thing with their keyboard that would really save me some time, or there's some special trick, and it goes vice versa. So if you have some suggestions, I'd love to hear them. And with that, I'm going to drink some water. Okay, so where we left off last time, I don't even know where my iPhone is. Oh, jeez. Well, there's definitely an iPhone connector hanging off the side of my desk. And here's an iPhone. Okay, so we've got everything we need. Now, if I recall correctly, we got the belts. Last thing we did was stuck a belt in and tried to get the collision detection working, but we couldn't. It just wouldn't work. I'm gonna build. Okay, so we actually do build. But for some reason our collision detection isn't quite working. Let me run it and show. So because the collision detection is not working anymore within the belt, we can't get sounds because sounds are driven by the collision so far. Yeah, and I've been like, yeah, I've changed. Yesterday I was changing the way basic collision detection works. So when they hit that middle thing, they're not going to bounce off. They're just going to go straight through. And that's not good, is it? So let's try to figure out what's going on. I think this is going to be a pain in the ass bug. It just has that feel. Sometimes you just know when you think you have most of your assumptions checked and you still don't know what it is. Well, that's when you got to start just scouring the code for any trace. I can't really. Well, I could debug this. Yeah. It's I'd be debugging a negative because the collisions aren't happening. So here's what I did. Yesterday, yesterday I realized the belt itself is a non-moving entity, which means that its hard test collides with entity which we implemented to try to get the collision to work. But this won't be called. It's only the moving object, so the voice object. That guy will get its hard test collides with entity called. But now the problem is those voice entities, they're snakeable entities, and I'm going to just double check that voice entity.mm doesn't have a collide, a hard test, or a collide, or collides. It doesn't have a collides with function. That's going to be in snakeable entity. It's superclass. So this guy has collides. It collides with entity A. It even has whatever this is. What is this? Update position with timestamp. Huh. What is this? Okay, this is collisions within itself. We don't have to worry about that. But it has a hard test collides with entity, so that will override it'll override this guy. And this is what does the bounding box tests. So maybe we just need to put that here. So these guys are basically the non-moving entities, non-morphic entity, ones that don't go into snakeable entity. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not sure why this doesn't hit. I mean, I expect it to hit the green wall and hit everything else. Let me double check that the voice entity... Well, I think I can just go like that. No, no, no. Yeah, voice entity... Ah, voice entity is a normal physics entity. Yeah, then there's no way for them to collide because... It's weird that voice entity is a normal physics entity. I think I downgraded it to try and fix this problem. But I think it has to be a snakeable entity. What do you think? We could have a class in the middle that's for moving entities, and we just call them moving entities. I'm going to do that because I don't want it to be a snakeable entity. I don't need that snaking functionality for everything. So let's go to the Mac. Let's go to classes and add one object right in the middle, and we'll call it... I think the camera's going to screw up. Whenever I start using the Mac, it screws up. Whoa, what are you doing? New file. There we go. Objective C class. And how about we call it moving entity? How's that? And you might be saying, wait, I have to type normal physics entity, and that's a hard one for my limited spelling capacity. Okay. And you know this class is going to be one of my favorite classes because it's going to have absolutely nothing in it. So there she is. Let's make it an MM file so we don't screw ourselves up. I guess it's looking at Git. I don't know what that did, but I hope it didn't screw anything up. See how slow it is right now? Okay. Anyway, we're going to say moving entity. Yeah, and I like that. We really need something like moving entity. And you know what's going to have? It's just going to be this. Yeah, that's all it's going to be. And nothing else. We're not going to touch that. So, we have to change snakeable entity to one of these guys. And then when we go to add things to game state, there's somewhere where we search. Okay, find mm snakeable. That is in shooter, exit, bounce wall. I didn't know bounce wall even did that. I guess it doesn't check in the game state. That is interesting. I wonder how it determines. I wonder how it determines whether it's movable or immovable. It could be an M file. Are there still M files? Okay, let me just go ahead and look at game state. Add entity. Add entity. So there's some user selectable entity. There's is mobile. You see that? So what we do have to define that one function is mobile. So let's just take it from snakeable entity. Yes. And I don't think it'll be needing that anymore. We can just give it to this guy. Not that guy, but yeah, this guy. Yeah. And that. Yeah. Okay, let's try build this. Did we make? Yeah, we made voice entity one of those. Let's just try build. Build failed. Okay, no biggie. Cannot find interface declaration for... Oh, I forgot to include it. Shoot. Alright, well, we'll just include it. Not a big deal. There you go. And we'll build that again. One error. And that's in voice entity, so it's probably the same issue. Oh, okay. It's saying, where is it? It's saying somehow I typed moving entity, or moving entity. Yes, and I do stuff like that. So building again. Later it might be good to, once this builds, yeah, once it builds we change, so we change some of these snakeables to bounce walls. So shooter, let's see what's going on in these, because these are probably sharing a lot of code. Yeah, like this other, well, this means they won't be able to leave through the exit gate.